Welcome back, ProGuides family. It's Stray once again, hosting another video. Even if you hated math in school, you're going to love it in this video as I'm going to be talking all about Valorant geometry, which is defensively holding angles. Learning how to hold angles is one of the most important skills in Valorant. Knowing how to hold and which angles to hold will give you the biggest advantage over your opponents. If you're lost on the defender's side, fret not, for this is the guide for you. I will be your angel and give you the best angles to hold in Valorant on the defender's side. I hope you brought your notebooks because class is in session. For our question of the day, I wanted to ask you, what melee is your favorite currently? My favorite has to be the newly added Sovereign Knife. It just looks so sick. It's literally a lightning infused machete used to smite down enemies. It also reminds me of the classic CS 1.6 knife with its nostalgic blade curve. I absolutely love this thing as it's my favorite melee out of the bunch. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite melee is and also what melee weapons should Riot consider adding in the near future. Before we get started into the video, I want to make sure you guys know the proper fundamentals to hold angles. You have to know and apply these key concepts in order to get the best advantages in Valorant. Those concepts being angle advantage, crosshair placement, and jiggle peeking. I'm going to summarize it real quick for you guys. For angle advantage, remember that when you're closer to an object and you peek, the enemies can see you earlier than you can see them. Remember to give yourself some space from the cover you are peeking from when you're expecting an enemy in front of you. As for crosshair placement, as always, place it at the upper chest level and as close as you can to their heads. This will ensure you the least amount of distance and time your crosshair can travel to their head. This technique is improved through experience, so don't be frustrated if your crosshair placement is not perfect. If you don't hear anything and you're expecting them to be walking, hold your crosshair a lot closer to the wall. If you hear loud, thundering footsteps, give your crosshair a comfortable distance from the wall. It's better to hold wider in this case and flick inward if needed. Lastly, jiggle peeking means pressing A plus D across a corner for info while not fully committing to the peek. This act allows you to get information first, and then you can decide whether or not you want to commit. All of this is essential for combat in Valorant. Make sure you get very familiar with these if you want to get really good. Of course though, if you really want to get good, we recommend going over to ProGuides.com where our top coaches can help you succeed. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, starting off with my favorite map, Haven. On the A-bomb site, the first angle we're going to be talking about is the corner overseeing A long next to the orb. This corner is amazing as it allows you to spot the cross to A short and gives you a great angle to jiggle peek. As I've said many times before, A long is the key factor in taking map control for both sides. Whoever wins this area of the map increases their chances significantly on the round, so playing this angle is just great. Paired with the smoke at the top of A long, you can also take control of the orb. Just make sure somebody is with you to hold for the jump out through the smoke, or tapping the orb to bait out enemies is also viable as well. If you do choose to smoke it out, keep in mind enemies can sneakily cross over to A short. Don't be caught off guard and make sure you're prepared for that. A more passive angle to play is behind the box in the middle of A site. When you do lose long A, this is a great default position to fall back to. You can jiggle peek A short and jump spot A long, which will give your team valuable information. Hopefully, if you know that they're close A short and A long, you already have some defenders rotating to A, not all of them though, unless you see the spike. Agents I like playing here on A are Brimstone, Viper, and Cypher. For Haven B, if you like playing aggressive and taking duels, I'd advise agents like Jett, Omen, and Raze who can take vertical angles with their mobility. A good aggressive angle here would be to get on the high ground in the middle of B to take a fight with the people peeking at the window and coming out bottom right near the lower grass area. Obviously, you don't want to do this every round as you're not aimbotting. If you are aimbotting, feel free to play this position every round. And if you do cheat, well, please don't. Cheating isn't cool. A more passive angle that I really like to play on B is the A connector side of B. I really like this angle because it keeps me in a safe spot while being able to spot the cross if they do come into B. Normally I can get a kill and fall back to safety. If they do decide to sage wall, which is pretty common, if I have a molly or grenade of some sort, I can delay the plant. Normally when they do decide to plant in B, they plant in the default spot located here. If they do decide to smoke it out, normally you can go through and try to be sneaky and get your way into the back of B site. As for garage, this place is kinda cramped, but your best position is in the window. It's a very safe position where you can gather info and fall back to concede the garage area and back your C player up. If you find you're getting smoked out in window often, try playing in the garage connector area holding the garage doors. If you're feeling aggressive and want to make plays, I'd advise to peek out of the garage occasionally for info or for frags. Agents that are ideal for playing here are Phoenix, Breach, and Reyna if you really like the aggressive play. Moving on to Haven C, there's a lot of good angles on this site. The common default would be behind the big box in the middle of C site. This angle is great for jiggle peeking and getting info. Just be careful if they have an operator, as this is a great angle for it for both sides. If you do have the operator, then have no fear and snipe down anybody running into your sights. If you want a different angle to switch it up, back plat or logs watching long C would be my recommendation. These are great angles to catch your opponents off guard. Always be unpredictable on defense and switch up your positioning to keep enemies on their toes. Cypher and Sova are both great picks for the C-bomb site, as they have great tools to scout out their enemies safely. Next is Ascent, and for A we have this corner in A main peeking the orb. Attackers usually like to come here fast, so jiggle peeking and listening for footsteps are key here, as you can get a kill and retreat onto either the A-bomb site or the A connector area. Inside the A connector is also a great area to hold, as they will be just crossing from A main onto site. From there you can try to get as many kills as you can. Just make sure enemies can't flank you from the catwalk. Getting shot from behind isn't too great of a feeling, I suppose. If you're the one playing catwalk and you're confident that you can peek, then you should peek from the catwalk corner down to lower mid link outside of B. This is pretty aggressive, but if you do manage to win your duels here, then getting priorities over mid is insane on Ascent. By taking mid control, it forces enemies to either funnel B or A main, where hopefully they get mowed down by your teammates. This angle is very high risk but also very high reward. If you're looking to play a little bit more passive, you can hold here from the A connector, which allows you to get kills and fall back through window area to A heaven or defender spawn. Duelists like Phoenix, Jet, and Reyna excel, as the catwalk is a hot zone for gunfights. For those playing mid markets, either playing inside markets next to the lever door or playing in the corner near defender spawn are very good, as they provide safety to get both kills and information, then being able to retreat afterwards. Like I said for catwalk, if you are feeling confident, you can move up a little bit and try to take some long distance duels, but again, very high risk and reward. These areas in mid are usually smoked out, so make sure to be prepared for enemies very close in the vicinity after the smoke wears out. You can also smoke them out as well, so controllers like Brim, Viper, and Omen are very good here. As for B, if you're playing this site, you're normally the anchor. Unless you have another person in B with you, I wouldn't recommend playing too aggressive, as in peeking the B main corner. If you fall early trying to play aggressive, it's usually a pretty free spike plant for the enemy team, causing an extremely hard retake for your position. So instead, use this angle here, next to the B walls, that allows you to spot the cross and fall back into B if under a heavy attack. If you haven't noticed already, the common principle for great angles is that you usually are able to retreat to another fallback spot, allowing you to take more 1v1 duels, as opposed to being exposed and swarmed by 5 people at once. The less exposed you are, the smaller the chance of you getting killed. Of course, you have to make sure to be able to win your aim duels though, otherwise you can't really make use of these great angles. Remember to keep up aim practice every day for you guys trying to improve. I believe in you. Check out our How to Aim Like the Pros video if you're interested in drills for aim improvement. As for agents, the Sentinels, Sage, and Cyphers are your best bets to be put on this B-bomb site. And here we are onto the map split, and we have the A site for you guys first. A commonly seen angle here for the Heaven player is A ramp next to Heaven. Paired with a height advantage and rotations, it's a great angle to hold attackers coming in from A main. You can go full Obi-Wan on your enemies. If you're under a lot of pressure, you can choose to back off and go rafters to help support your A anchor. If you're sure it's A, call for a rotation, and hopefully the mid player can help pick up Heaven watching the A ramp. Raze, Breach, Phoenix are great picks on the A ramp. Raze has a lot of strong damage abilities that will stop group pushes in their track and especially work well here at this angle. Breach and Phoenix can also flash and peek these angles, which are very strong. If you're playing the A anchor, playing from screens or elbow is your safest bet. Playing from those positions allow you to stay alive for much longer and buys valuable time for your teams to rotate. You can safely watch the cross from both positions or decide to let them come into A and take more close 1v1 duels. If you are playing in screens and you do get smoked out, you can just stay put and play for retake. Wait for your teammates to rotate and then push them together after the smokes start dissipating. For agents to play on A, Sova is great with his recon arrow here into A main. Breach is also another good pick, as he can daze everybody coming into the narrow choke with his E and send them packing from whence they came. Mid, as always, is an important part to control on the map, and for split it's no different. I will tell you though, B tower is much more important to defend. If you weigh the option of enemies getting to B tower versus A vent room, B is much more vulnerable after they take the B tower. They have the high ground over your B player and can also go into CT through stairs, cutting off rotations. As for if they get into vents, they still have to go up vents, which is not easy if you have a player holding from heaven. So for mid, I want to tell you that this corner at B tower is a better spot to play than inside the vent room. Also, I do want to say that playing 2 in B tower together is perfectly fine. If you do have an operator here, you can choose to play vents to shut down the ramen push. However, if they start to smoke it out, the operator should go and play somewhere around A. A ramp would be a great place for the operator to rotate to. For mid split, Sage is highly recommended for the delay potential she has and is able to rotate for heals and resurrection. And our last spot on split is on B. The common angle here is near the default box and behind the pillar. You can jiggle the spot, but it is kinda risky. Normally, Cypher is just the best agent for this position, as his trapwires give you information if the enemy is in B main alongside with your camera. And if they are there, you can cyber cage and spam them through with your smoke. Other agents can play here, but it's just not as optimal. This site was honestly just made entirely for Cypher. And for our last map bind, let's start off with showers. Something I hope you guys are doing somewhat occasionally in quarantine. If you're watching showers passively, play near the bench. This is a great angle to hold to let people in showers run into your crosshair. If your teammates are playing more passive on site, you should either play more aggressive into showers or more passive behind Tetris so you aren't exposed to the A short push. Make sure to be glancing at the minimap to see if your teammates are watching angles you might be exposed to. Otherwise, you'll be pulling out your hair when you get shot at from the side. For A short, the default is going to be U-Haul. It's just a great angle to kill attackers running in, and you can also fall back outside behind the truck. Just be careful, as many things can kill you inside U-Haul, such as Brimstone and Sova Ultimate. Press tab after every round to see what ultimates are available for your opponents to make sure you don't get severely punished and pay with your life. Another great angle that comes to mind is the corner next to Tetris. This angle is kind of a one and done, however it makes it so you aren't exposed to showers. Most of the time they are taking A, they will fully smoke it, so you can just sit there and play retake. The only thing you have to be careful for is if they fully push U-Haul, as that's the only angle you're extremely exposed to. For playing A, some great picks here are Breach, Raze, Brimstone, and Viper. In B short, I wouldn't really recommend holding outside or inside of Hookah, as that's fairly risky as you might get swarmed. But if you're playing a Sentinel like Sage or Cypher, it's a little bit safer. I would recommend, if you do want to play Hookah, you should play this angle next to or on the box in Hookah. You can sometimes mix it up by playing on the opposite side, but be careful for things that can clear you out like Breach's Aftershock and Raze's Nade or Boombot. Remember, if you're out of utility, you should probably get out of Hookah and try to get back into a safer spot on site. Most of the time, I would recommend you to be playing backside or inside the tube. You're able to watch both Garden and Hookah from these spots. Again, this makes for a great spot leading to safer play, as your goal is to stay alive and buy enough time for rotations. Another great spot to play would be Elbow, so that you'll be able to watch the cross from Garden onto the B site and also see the jump out from the window. However, the spot and defender spawn are usually smoked out, so you'll have to play accordingly. Even if they do smoke out, you can just play patiently and play for the retake after they plant the spike. If you're looking to play a bit more aggressively, you can play this angle in Garden peeking B long. It's great to fight for the B long orb or maybe even start flanking, but it's not so great if you die, as B will be very vulnerable and you guys will most likely have to play a 2-2 setup with no quick rotator. Remember to pick your spots on when to play aggressive. But there are things you can do in Garden to give yourself the advantage. Agents like Breach and Phoenix here will give you great utility with flashes and allow you to get some easy kills if they are pushing up. Jet is also great here, as she can reposition quickly with her dash and smokes if she encounters enemies. And with that, another video completed and another learning opportunity for you guys. Practice these angles mentioned, as these are all great spots to play. Besides improving your aim in these positions, which you should be doing daily, also you should be learning how to use your abilities in certain situations. While aim is important, abilities can single-handedly win the round if put in the right place at the right time. I hope with this guide, you guys are able to grow as strong and reliable defenders that can lock down a site for your team. People playing with you will be ecstatic. As always, we at ProGuides would love and appreciate if you supported us by commenting, and subscribing. Hit the notification bell if you want to be alerted for new videos coming out in the future. Always appreciate the love and support, guys. As always, my name is Stray and I'll be signing out. Peace.